Hey guys, welcome back to Linda's Resin Room. Someone asked how I trim up my pieces and how I fix them. So I'm going to show you. I have this little pawl box that I made a bit ago. So it's completely cured, which is what I want. But I haven't got around to trimming it up yet and fixing it. So it's got a couple of bubbles. You can see there's a couple little bubbles around the edge. Let's see, there's one. There's one right there. And then this is not quite level. It's got a lip. So there's different ways to fix this lip. You can fill it in with UV resin, cure it under the light, and it's good. No trimming needed. You can take your deburrowing tool. I hate this thing. That thing twists, so you got to hold on to it. Mine came with a bunch of extra pieces. And you just hold it and you go around and you trim this up. I hate that thing. I don't have good control with it. Or you can use your scalpel or craft knife. And I like to lay this flat on the piece, and then I just go around it, and I go slowly because I am doing this toward me, and I shouldn't, because of you can cut yourself. So I just slowly lay that flat around the piece and trim off that high edge. And I go all the way around it. I feel it after I do to make sure there's no sharp pieces and that lip is gone. To me, this is the quickest way, but everybody likes a different tool and does it a different way. So whatever works best for you. I just like my craft knife. And I just feel it to make sure I get it as low as I want it. If your resin piece is not completely cured, this will be difficult because of the resin will be too soft and bendable, and it'll want to cut down into the piece itself, and you can really mess it up. So make sure it's completely cured before you go to do this. And like I said, this I made a couple of weeks ago, so it's completely cured. I'm just continuing to go around, and like I said, just go slow, take your time. Almost. And you can feel, and you'll be able to know if you've got low enough, if there's any sharp edges left. You'll be able to feel it. Okay, and that is how I trim it up. Now I've got pieces everywhere, you can see. So just get yourself some tape. I like my packing tape, just regular packing tape, because it makes it so much easier to clean up my mess. And now I don't have pieces loose. Alright, now let's work on filling these couple of spots that's on this piece. I've got my UV resin. I like the J Diction High Gloss UV, the hard type. Soft type stays bendable, hard type does not. Now we're going to do this slow. I'm just going to get a little tiny bit on my toothpick, and I do mean it little. And there's a hair on there. Let me get that off. And I'm just going to slowly fill this up. I'm going to put that in there and slowly fill it. You can cure a little bit at a time and add more, do a little more, cure, and build yourself up that way. This is a good sized little hole. Okay. So I want to try to get that even there. He still needs just a little bit more, but we're going to do that after we cure this. So we've got it filled up. And we're just going to cure this up for a few seconds. It doesn't take long to cure. I don't want it rolling everywhere. I will put it in my UV light, my big light, for 5 minutes once I get all the little holes filled up to where I want them. Okay. See, there's a little one. Now I've got too much there, so I'm just filling up smaller ones beside of it. Okay. You do want to make sure you dig out any bubbles. Alright. We are equal, we are even and level, and we're going to cure that. Okay. Now that one hole is fixed. He is gone. No more. Now, I've got quite a few little holes through there. I am just going to take and go around this with a little bit of UV. There's quite a few little holes in there. And this is going to fill them up. And I'm going to put it under the big light. If I can find my Q-tip. There he is. Now I'm just going to spread this out. I'm working it down into all those little holes. Since there's so many. Making sure to dig all those little bubbles out. That way all the holes are filled. Because we don't want sharp edges on this piece. Okay. There's quite a few little tiny holes down in there. And this is helping to get them filled up. Now the bigger ones, like I said, you can pluck all those bubbles out. And help that resin go right down in those little areas. That's a bigger hole. And he has a bubble, so I'm just plucking it out. Here's a bigger hole. Needs filled up. Okay. That one needs the bubble plucked out of it. There's some that the bubbles are down in there. And if you leave the bubble, you'll be able to still see the area. And you don't want to be able to see it. You want it to blend in. That's why it's best. Take your time. Okay. Here's a good size bubble. Okay, we've went all the way around it. I think I've got everything filled up. I think that one over there could use just a little more. There we go. Now, get a lighter. And if I can figure out how to turn this one on and go around, and this will help pop those bubbles so that they go down in those holes. Okay. And let's see, not there. All right. I think I've got them. I don't see any bubbles left. I've got it completely covered with resin here. Taking it to the edges. So like I said, I do not want sharp edges. I want this to be smooth. Okay. Now, he is going in the light for 5 minutes. So I'll see you guys back in 5 minutes. Just a couple of seconds for you guys. Alright guys, so I moved the light out of the way. Let that do its thing. Let's go ahead and get these 2 bubbles in this one fixed. So I've got a bubble down in there. And I got one on the edge. And I got one on the edge here. So we need to fix those. First, let's do the one that's down in there. This one doesn't have the little tiny micro bubbles like the box itself did. It just has the holes. So we are just going to fill that hole up level with the resin piece. I'm trying to make sure I got enough in there. Yep. And then I'm just going to hold my light on it. Just for a few seconds. Long enough to cure this up to where it's not going to run anywhere or anything like that. Okay. Alright. Our light just kicked off. Now that has completely cured up. Our bubbles are gone. Still got a little bit there that I'm going to have to put a little on. But you can see that is much better. You can actually go around and trim that, which is probably what I'll do since I coated it. I'll just take my craft knife and I'll go around and just trim like I did the top so I don't have all those little tiny sharp edges. I guess you guys can need to see this, right? Just barely taking off the edge. That way, all those little sharp pieces that were on the edge will now be gone. And we won't have to fill the rest of them up. And they will all be even now. Don't have to worry about anybody getting cut. And I do the same thing, like I said, just slowly, trimming off just the corner. You can also take a nail file and do this if you want to, or these other files that I have here. The only issue is when you file, you have to remember that you're creating dust. Alright guys, now how does that look? Much better. No sharp edges, no bubbles. This piece is now fixed. He's ready to go. Get all these scrappy pieces off of me. Now let's finish fixing this one. Get all those up in a minute. Just got me another little bubble here. I'm going to slowly put it down in here. Put my light on. Okay. Now I just want it to be equal, even with the edges. So that's all I'm doing, smoothing it out. Okay, and the light again. And that was just a little tiny bit of resin. Now, where's the other one? There it is. Same thing. Just a little bit of resin on your toothpick. Put it right down in that hole. Make sure there's no bubbles in there. This is a good size hole. Now I could cure that and just keep adding. But I like to get it to where it's almost full. And then I will finish it off. It'll kind of run down if you hold it. So just be careful how you do hold it. And you could have put glitter in this. My bubble's fixed. That has a little bit of an edge. I like these little files. And I'm just going to file it down barely. Okay, now, there we go. That is how you fix a piece and how you trim it up. Put my lid back on that. You can use regular nail file too if you want to file around this piece. I like these little metal ones that come in a kit. There's different shapes, different sizes. I use them for different things. There's square, circle, a little rounded flat. Alright guys, that is it. I hope that helped answer some of you guys' questions. So, I'll see you back for the next video. Bye for now.